Y'all ready? Y'all ready to get into it? So, lately, I've been looking at the news where we from, and somebody called me. This is Rolling Cut with Chop. They called me and they said, Chop, you act like everything is peachy creamy where you from. I said, what do you mean? You like y'all be really talking about no current events and stuff like that. I said, you know what, you're right. So my first current event that I'm going to talk about is like I said, just anybody that's tuning in, this is Jumping 215 Rolling Cut with Chop with co-host T Hunt, Anthony Lloyd, and Philly Roxie. So we come on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock p.m. and Fridays 7 o'clock p.m. and we are on Rolling Uncut with Chop. Plus, you can download the app. Tell them the app and tell them the number, Philly Roxy.
Jumping 215. Pull it up in your app store. Jumping 215.
Without the G.
And then the number is 267-255-6578. Call in with your questions.
And I just love when she, say it. She done learned the number before me. So that's why I always, So the first current event is from Pennsylvania. See, a lot of times where we're from, we have area codes 215, but there's a lot of different counties and different things. So I'm going to talk about the Upper Darby area. Upper Darby is like up in West Philly, the Upper West Philly. So I just want to talk about this. It was a 34-year-old woman in Pennsylvania in the Upper Darby area. She was broken up with her fiance, husband, boyfriend. I'm just going to go there with that. And she went to meet this young man to pick up the children, and some type of confrontation happened. He jumped in a car and he shot her and shot himself, right? Now, from what we know from then, that the guy was still alive, but as I know right now, he's deceased. So me just talking about this period is to bring awareness, because I usually don't do this personally, but I'm bringing awareness because my awareness is this: family, friends, associates, whoever you are. I just want y'all to know that. I heard the mom say one thing. She said, he was always so hot-headed. He was always so angry. So my thing is, and like I say, not judging anybody. There's never no judgment here. But if you know that your family is going through certain things and your children and stuff, don't let them go somewhere by themselves. We need to bring back these uncles and cousins and aunts and uncles. I know a lot of times, and let me just say this, I know that a lot of people have went to jail in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Philly style, from helping their brother, sister, aunt, uncle. So a lot of times people are not getting into it. But the murder rate for things is arising. And I have to say this for these young kids. Y'all have these kids. A lot of these women, I'm just going to say this for me, a lot of these women feel like the baby is theirs. I don't know who need to educate these women and let them know that these babies is not just yours. It took that sperm, to be honest, in order to even produce that baby. You understand? So I don't know where the wires got crossed, but that's what's going on. Also, I have heard a lot of situations where people are killing these women because of child support, and I'm going to say for me personally, I have a son that is on child support or whatever because of the lady wanting to be, upset. It's never seemed like that is really about the child or what they're not doing for the child. Is when y'all not together anymore. So my son told her, listen, okay, it's not working out, whatever. And we laugh a little bit. We call her 7 days. That means that he didn't even know her that long.
They were trial run, right?
Trial run. Hey, Roxy, tell them in 2026 with this trial run.
6 days, 2026. You get 6 days. You don't run it right, you got to go.
So she didn't even get past the interview. Didn't get past the interview.
But getting back to it is, we have to be mindful about how we educating our children, because a lot of people feel, and I don't know if it's mom, dad, they just feel like after a certain age, you don't have to parent anymore. So I'm not going to go too far into it anymore because I want my co-hosts and everybody to jump in. I'm going to start with T Hunt so she can tell me what she feel about what I just said.
Well, I just listen to you say that sometimes, you know, if you can intervene with something, if you tell somebody that's going to, but sometimes people be scared to let their family members know that they're going through domestic violence, because you never know what that person is telling the person, like, oh, I'm going to kill your mom, I'm going to kill your kids,
Right.
don't say nothing. So sometimes people just don't know.
Okay.
And you know, domestic violence is real, and you know, it's not just that. Sometimes, you know, we have issues within ourselves that don't allow us to move forward, and there's a such thing called what we call residual abuse. You know, where we jump out of one situation and get into another situation. You know, and you know, we have to surround ourselves with people that's going to help develop who we are. You know.
Well, you can't. I feel like you got to know who you are as a person.
Right,
Nobody
true.
can help you. You have to know yourself. You know your worth, and love on yourself. Because if you don't love on yourself, then you can't love on nobody.
But how can you do that if you've never been taught that? And I'm giving you an example. I know in my house, we didn't do the traditional hugs, you know, when we came in. We just didn't. You know, I see a lot of folks that come in, and even we didn't do the prayers before when we had our Thanksgiving dinners and things like that. We had to learn to do those things. So, and it impacted me growing up because I didn't know how to have emotions and feelings and things like that. It wasn't until later on folks started observing me and said, "Tone, man, you need to be a little bit more emotional." You know, I didn't cry at funerals and any of those things because I wasn't taught that.
Right.
So I think that when we see these challenges or these weaknesses that we perceive that somebody may have, you know, just reach out and ask. You know, just reach out and ask.
And Anthony, when you say that you wasn't taught, like, let me just say for me, my mama, she hugged us, but it was always in jokes. It was always in joke. Oh, and when she had a little taste, meaning a drink, it's rolling a cup with chop. I'm just telling you, one thing about it, we got it. You understand? And I'm going to go back into talking about my son. I have some older children that's in their 30s, and I remember they were taking some college classes, and Anthony, you know, sometimes in college classes, some of that stuff that they talk about actually make you realize what you just said, you know, the things that you were missing. And my son said, "Mom, out of 7 things, you did 5. Guess what? I didn't understand the language he was talking about, but I was just so happy that I was so nurturing. But my mother, like I said, always showed us the love by jokes. So, you know, I make sure that I say, I love you, Mom, or I love you. So she like, oh, and she would just make things fun. So working in a halfway house, like I said, all the things that I realized that people missed and they never had the chance to say or do, I do just that. And that's why I'm able to be here with you guys today, is because I was able to hand pick certain characteristics that I liked in people. So Philly Roxie, you know, how about you? How, as far as, you know, what Anthony said, we wasn't taught certain things. You know, Tyra said that one of the young ladies, or some people don't like to tell people what they're going through because they don't want people to feel like they're vulnerable or they're weak. Or let me just say this one thing: is this rolling uncut with chop? Is this rolling uncut with chop?
Rolling uncut with chop.
Because the family be gossiping. Let's go. Let's go. Philly Roxie, let's go.
That's it right there. People gossip.